What's good, guys? Today we're going to be building a beat up from scratch. We're also going to be checking out a creative new multi-effects tool called Beam 2 by Lunacy Audio, who are the sponsors of today's video. Right, let's jump into Ableton. So for this one, I got my tempo here set at 135, and I'm just going to set myself to D sharp minor. On this beat, I'm going to start out with a pad, so I've gone for the Airy Synth Choir on Expand 2. And as I want to make a dark trap beat today, we're just going to put down a really simple minor chord to start. Let's bring this root note up an octave as well. Then we're just going to copy that over, and we're going to bring this note in here as well, just to create some more tension. Just to keep it dark, we're not going to move these notes around too much. So I'm just going to copy them over again. And on these, we can bring them down to maybe say the A sharp. Perfect kind of dark vibes just to start with. However, I know that I'm probably going to do something like half time with this later. So I'm going to pitch it up an octave. Let's randomize these chords. We'll just copy that over. Then we'll add a little bit of variation just on this end section here. Right, we can maybe even bring this one down. Take out any low end rumble as well. So now that we have our chords down, we can start manipulating this with Beam. Now in Beam 2, unlike Beam 1, you get all the different effects within it, the standalone effects as well. So I'm just going to start with some of this Beam Space, which is a convolution reverb. As you can see, really nice, clean, modern interface. We've got a whole bunch of presets for the reverbs up here. I'm just going to go into the large spaces and let's try this Icelandic Lagoon. Bring the mix down slightly. And then on top of that, I just want to put a little bit of this Beam Haze as well. Bring the density down. Take the spread up. Think about there. And just drop the mix slightly. Okay, let's add another layer in. So I'm just going to copy these chords over and we're going to back these up with some keys, I think. Quite liking this L-Fit one. I think on this layer though, we could add some more rhythm in. So let's just cut up some of these notes. Do that again. Maybe add one in here. And then I think on this one, we could also add this note in again. Like the way that sounds, so let's just copy these over. And then for our variation here on the end, we can add some more rhythm in on these as well. Maybe even back this up an octave higher. Randomize these again so they're not the same as the other ones. Pull them down to soften them a bit. Take out this low end. Bring the volume down on these as well so it blends better. And one out to the left and one out to the right. For our third layer here, I'm just going to grab another sound out of Expand 2. As I'm not too sure what sound I want to use on this layer yet, I'm just going to start with the grand piano and we can switch out the sound after. All we're going to do for this layer here is just copy these chords over. Let's take it all up one octave. Then we're just going to use this arpeggiate tab. We've got this set here at 0 distance. Maybe try some different styles here. Quite like this down up. Try an up down though. Or maybe we could try something like Con and Diverge. Bring this down to 1/8. Bring some of these levels down just so the piano is a bit more prominent. Let's try switching this sound out for something different. So for this layer, I've just selected this fixture string. Add a little bit more reverb to this with the Beam Space. On this one, we'll just try out a small space. Maybe try something like School Assembly. I'm liking that. So now that we've got these 3 layers down, I just want to convert it down into audio so we can manipulate it a bit more. So now that we've got this rendered out into audio, the first thing I'm going to do is right click and just go to normalize clip sample. That'll just bring the volume up so I can see what I'm working with. Now, obviously I'm not going to want it this loud, so I'm just going to back it off a little bit. And I think on this beat, I just want to reverse a few sections to get a darker feel. I'm just going to come into every second half bar and reverse them. Might sound a little bit crazy at the moment, but it'll sound much better after we process it. So I'm just going to join all this together with Control and J. So now that we've got that, I'm going to manipulate it using the main Beam Effects plugin. Now, Beam's a bit of a unique plugin. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. What it basically does is split your audio into different beams. Then you can process each one separately, and it brings them back together at the end. You can kind of think of it like parallel processing with effects. This is the default preset. So for instance, if I wanted to change this, I could drag space up to here. Then you would have one coming through that's not touched at all, blending in with this one here, which has got grains and space on it. However, you pull that down, as you can see, it completely changes it. Or for instance, if you put it here so that everything being fed by the beam has space on it. On top of that, you can then add different nodes. So there's space, grains, time, volt, filter, and haze. So for instance, if I wanted to put a filter here, we could do that. You can then come into the effect itself, change all the different properties here. Or if you double click, you can bring up all the different presets for this one. Obviously, this isn't the effect I'm going for on this melody. I'm just showing you what it can do. Bring the space back to here. Then if you decide you want less of the effects, you can just simply drag out another beam. You can also drag beams in between things. So for instance, like this. And obviously you can add nodes to any of these different slots. So for instance, we could put, say, a volt filter on here. So now that I've shown you the basics of Beam and how it works, let's use it in a way that I would actually use it in a beat. Okay, so we've basically got a fresh beam here. Still got the grains on it, as I am planning to use that. So let's just start by manipulating the grains. As you can see with the visual representation, as you turn the rate up, you get a lot more of the grains. As you bring it down, it shows you that it's kind of less. So for this one, I'm probably going to go around about here. Bring the mix down a little bit. From there, let's drag a beam out. Then on this second path, let's add a haze. Turn the spread up. Bring the density down. Bring this decay up. Drop the mix a little bit. Also add some space up onto this grains. For this one, let's jump into some presets. I'm just going to look for some small spaces again. So before Beam, we had this. And then when we add it in, and it adds a little bit more texture, makes it a bit more unique. I think on this one, I just want to use one more of these nodes. So let's drop in this filter node, come into the presets, try out maybe something like this subtle stereo. Come into there, bring the stereo down slightly, bring this cutoff down as well. Okay, so I'm feeling the way that sounds, so I'm just going to freeze and flatten this again. So now that we got that rendered out, I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the beam time, as you can warp this kind of like half time. Just by pulling this stretch down here to about 50%. Instantly gives it some dark vibes. Now the reason why I chose not to add this as a node on the end before is because I wanted to render it out and kind of play with the pitch. So let's set this to complex. Let's try pitching it up by maybe about 9 or so. I know that'll be in C minor. Oh, that sounds hard. So now that we got that down, I just want to remove any low end that's come from half timing it. Now obviously after pitching it up and then removing the low end, we're missing some weight down low in the sample. So I'm just going to add a low pitch piano, just going for the scoring preset here. So we're just going to start here on the root note. I want to make sure the velocity is turned all the way up on these. We'll just bring that all the way across. We'll drop this one down just to match the chord progression. Maybe even drop this one. Bring that up an octave. Bring it up one more as well. Bring the velocity on the top one down. Add an extra note in here as well, just for some variation. Drop the volume of the sample back down so the piano is a bit more prominent. Remove the really low sub from the piano as well, just so we got room for an 808. I don't want to add too many layers on this as I want to leave plenty of space for vocals. I'm thinking maybe just a couple of phrases or accents that we can make quickly. Then maybe something like a melody line with a piano or some strings. So to make this first accent, I've just selected this classic PWM polysynth. Sounds like this. Let's just start out here with a really simple minor chord. Obviously, when I play this, it's not going to sound like the accent yet, because we're going to have to manipulate the sound. So in order to do that, I'm just going to start by using grains to get a choppy feel in here. Maybe try bringing this rate down. I think that's much better already. Add a bit of space to this as well. Bring this down a little bit. All I'm going to do here is freeze and flatten this. Then let's fade this out here so it just comes in at the start. Bring that over. Drop the volume down. I think we can make another accent that just fills up the space here. But let's bring Omnisphere back in. We'll basically just repeat the process. For this one, I've come into the Trons and Optical, and I've selected Choir Work 1. I feel something like a choir would make a really good accent on this beat. On this one here, we'll start on the G just to match this piano. We'll bring it up to the exact same notes in the chord progression from earlier. Even add this one in. And this one here, we'll do this to match the piano as well. So once again here, just back on grains to make it a bit choppy. Try 1/4 here. Even try changing the shape. In fact, I think the size on this, I'm just going to leave it on 1/1. Let's bring in a bit of the haze. Bring the spread all the way up. In fact, let's try turning everything all the way up and see how it sounds. I think that's nice, but I need to bring this grains after it so it's still kind of choppy. Freeze and flatten that. We're just going to chop out these sections here. Let's do the opposite way so it fades in. Yeah, that sounds tough. So I think for the main lead here for the chorus, I'm just going to go ahead and use a piano. Maybe something like this Black Forest one. So nothing complicated there. Just utilizing these two different blocks of tension notes. Quantize this. I'm going to hit legato as well so all the notes stretch out. Bring this one back. Bring those two back as well. Add an extra note in here, I think. Maybe an extra note here at the end as well. Pan out these accents so they go kind of around the sides to the piano. Duplicate this with a layer below as well. Take out the low end. Add a bit of reverb to this as well. Let's come into the small spaces. Let's go for, let's try Glider's Reflection. Gildor's Reflection, sorry. Bring the mix down on that. The only thing I think this melody needs now is a section with like a violin. Don't think this will play when the piano's playing. So I'm just going to copy this over, remove the piano on this section. We'll find out a string line here. So for this, I'm just going to put down a solo violin, kind of try and get that haunting feeling there. Maybe add this tension note in. Add this one in and this one in, maybe. Maybe try dropping this one down. I like that. Add some variation here on the fourth. Sorry, the eighth bar. Really nice and kind of a broken down section. Maybe leading back into the chorus. Liking the way that sounds, so let's give this a little bit of structure. Pull this all the way across. Start with the sample here. Maybe bring the piano in from this part. We bring this section over here. This could be the chorus. Bring this over. Have it a bit more broken down. Bring these back in here. Next section, we'll bring this out. Bring these over as well. Maybe here we could add a tubular bell in. Nice and simple. Let's put this down on the root note. Let's bring it over to here as well. Bring this string in here. Now this is more of a broken down section. That'll lead back into the chorus. So now that we've got a rough structure, we can look at doing some drums. So I'm just going to treat this section here like the chorus. Keep it really simple. Add a second snare in for a little bit of bounce as well. Add in a few more hits here at the end. Drop the volume on that one. We'll just add some random panning to it as well. Nice crisp hi-hat. Just start by putting this all the way across. We drop this one down here. Copy them all the way over. Bring the volume down. Let's just add a few rolls in as well. Now you don't always have to add rolls, but quite often I like to, just because I like the sound of them. Do this one here. Pop this down further. Add in a few extra notes as well, just to get a bit more bounce in this second half. And let's switch up the end here. Still kind of basic, just a few little rolls here and there. Add a few lower notes in as well. Bring the velocity on these down. Add a little bit of random panning. And snap this. Bring the sustain down. Sounds hard. Just going to bring the melody layers down just a little bit before we bring the kick and the 808 in. So for the 808, the obvious one to go for is something like a spins. However, today I'm going to switch it up and go for this section one. Let's just check this is in the right note. So I'm just going to bring a tuner in. I can see as I'm pressing C, it's hitting on C. So that's the easiest way to check. If it's ever off, then you just transpose it slightly. Let's set this to one shot. Keep this pattern really simple. It's going to leave plenty of space in here. Just a really simple bounce on the 808. Obviously just following the bass note progression. A little bit more complicated here at the end, but nothing crazy. Bring the volume on that down. Go for this OK kick. We're just really simply following the 808 pattern. Left a few gaps for where there's a few little rolls on the 808. Go for this open hat next. Let's keep these really simple. Maybe have an extra hit here at the end. Do a triangle as well. Bring the gain on that down. Do this laser perk. Works so well in so many of these beats. Nothing complicated, just leaving plenty of room. Maybe an extra hit here at the end as well. Do this rim shot. Do some random panning on that as well. Let's put it quite high. Like the way that bounces back and forth. Do this stomp. Go for the ember crash on this one. Put it right here at the start of the pattern. Sounds hard. I think the only bit of percussion I want to add is just a second hi-hat. Just put this down in a really basic kind of two-step pattern. And this will just be here to kind of keep a tempo all the way along. Got the volume on it though. I think we could also have a section where we switch up the 808s. Maybe really simplify these. This will probably be a section in the verse, so we won't need this piano in. I'm just going to work it out here and then we'll figure out where it fits in. Go for the CTM one from J Cactus's kit. Instead of putting this one on one shot, I'm just going to leave it on classic so I can control the length. I think on this second section here, I probably want more of these hits actually. So a quick tip, if you hold control down and click over two clips, we'll bring them both up like this. Then you can switch which one you're putting notes between by clicking on them here. So for instance, if I click on the green, putting green notes down. If I'm clicking on the yellow, I'm putting ones down on the 808 pattern from before. All the 808s together. Sounds hard for a switch up. The more that I'm hearing this beat, the more I feel like it needs an electric guitar line as well. Just quantize these notes. Bring this one down. That sounds hard. Bring the volume on that down and let's just pan it out. Let's duplicate this layer over as well, and we'll just bring the second one an octave down. Then we can pan this one out to the left. There we go. So I think I've got plenty of options here to fully structure out this beat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and play you out with the final arrangement. I hope you've all seen how easy it is to use Beam 2 to manipulate your melodies. Obviously, I hope you've all enjoyed the cook-up. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments down below. Also, give me your thoughts on Beam 2. Let me know if you're planning to get it or not. And with all that said, until next time, I've been SK. Peace.